This is the luxury world. Get inspired with us today and tomorrow. In this video brought to you by the luxury world, we will uncover the truth behind one of the most persistent myths in the luxury watch industry, the so-called Rolex Waitlist. This is not simply a story about watches. It is a case study in luxury manipulation, and that is what we have to explore deeper in today's topic. Please subscribe to Luxury World for exclusive access to upcoming insights, curated content, and expert guidance to help elevate every step of your watch investment journey. For decades, the so-called Rolex Waitlist has been presented as a badge of honor for aspiring collectors and enthusiasts alike, a cue that allegedly represents overwhelming demand for timepieces crafted with unmatched precision by a small Swiss manufacturer. However, this long-standing narrative has little grounding in reality. What is frequently described as a waitlist is, in truth, more of a wish list, a vague, non-binding registration of interest with no guarantee, no transparency, and certainly no fairness. Far from being a simple first-come, first-served process, this system is an opaque structure rooted in selective gatekeeping, subjective privilege, and strategic scarcity. This widely accepted myth has functioned as one of the most successful marketing illusions in the luxury world. The tale of the Rolex Waitlist, told repeatedly for years, has convinced countless individuals that the brand simply cannot meet demand due to its meticulous craftsmanship and artisanal standards. The real mechanism at play, however, is far more complex and far more calculated. At its core, the Rolex Waitlist story is built upon plausible deniability. Officially, the brand maintains that it does not manage or maintain waiting lists. Rolex explicitly states that the allocation and distribution of its products are the sole responsibility of its network of authorized dealers. By offloading the responsibility onto its retailers, the company effectively distances itself from the frustrations, uncertainties, and indignities often associated with the buying experience. This strategy allows the brand to remain untarnished in the eyes of consumers, preserving its prestige while enabling dealers to operate in ways that suit their own interests. In place of waiting list, dealers now use softer, less committal phrases like registering your interest or being added to a wish list. This is no accidental shift in language. It is a deliberate move. By avoiding any promise of fairness or sequence, the terminology removes any expectation of merit-based distribution and grants dealers full discretionary power. They are under no obligation to honor a chronological order or offer watches based on how long an individual has waited. Instead, decisions are often made behind closed doors, driven by subjective criteria. The reality is that the process resembles less of a line and more of a modern-day patronage system. Authorized dealers act as gatekeepers, and customers find themselves in the unenviable position of petitioners, vying for the opportunity to purchase a product with their own money. In this system, the most significant determining factor is not loyalty, enthusiasm, or even time spent waiting. It is history. But this history extends far beyond prior Rolex purchases. Preference is often given to those who have spent large sums on high-margin jewelry or less desirable watch brands stocked by the same dealer. Those who have contributed tens or even hundreds of thousands in purchases are placed on internal BP lists, granting them privileged access to the most sought-after models, including the iconic steel Submariner, the GMT-Master II, and the Daytona. This has given rise to a widespread and controversial practice known as bundling. Dealers may not demand it outright, but the implication is clear. Access to popular steel sports models is contingent on purchasing additional, less desirable inventory. For instance, one might be encouraged, or required, to buy diamond jewelry or a gold dress watch before even being considered for a coveted steel Daytona. It is a tactic that transforms a desired timepiece into leverage, weaponized by retailers to clear broader stock. Beyond financial outlay, the system also demands emotional and social investment. Prospective buyers are expected to cultivate personal relationships with sales associates, often through repeated visits and seemingly casual conversations. These interactions are less about horology and more about proving alignment with the brand's curated image of an ideal customer, someone perceived as a true enthusiast, not a reseller. In this setting, even outward appearance and demeanor may be scrutinized, further compounding the sense of exclusion for many buyers. There are documented instances where customers have been told, either in jest or outright, that they must come back with more gray hairs or buy more watches before being eligible for certain conversations, particularly regarding ultra-desirable models like the Sky Dweller. These are not isolated abuses of a broken system. They are features of a structure built specifically to manufacture the illusion of exclusivity. The brand's official stance is that supply constraints are the natural result of rigorous quality standards and hand assembly. According to this narrative, Rolex simply cannot produce enough timepieces to meet the global appetite. However, this justification is undercut by independent data. According to Morgan Stanley, Rolex produces approximately 1.24 million watches per year, making it the undisputed leader in Swiss luxury watchmaking. By contrast, other highly regarded maisons like Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet produce roughly 70,000 and 50,000 watches per year, respectively. While Rolex cultivates an image of a meticulous artisan house, the reality is that it is a large-scale industrial powerhouse. Yet the shortage narrative persists, primarily because the scarcity is not across the board, it is selectively applied. The production volume of the classic line, including the Datejust and Oyster perpetual models, makes up a substantial portion of total output. These models are readily available and far more accessible. In contrast, steel professional models are kept deliberately scarce, and this imbalance is a calculated move, not a consequence of production limitations. The most compelling evidence of this engineered scarcity can be found in the gray market legal secondary market that facilitates the resale of genuine timepieces outside of the authorized dealer network. Unlike the black market, the gray market does not trade in counterfeits. It serves a vital role for those unwilling to navigate the politics and gamesmanship of ADs. And most importantly, it exposes the truth. The gray market reveals the real-world premiums attached to certain Rolex models, what can be termed the scarcity tax. This premium quantifies how much more buyers are willing to pay to circumvent the system. For example, in 2025, a white dial steel Daytona with the Panda configuration has a retail price of $15,100. On the secondary market, it trades for approximately $24,000, a 59% markup. A GMT-Master II commands a 35% premium, while the Submariner Date Starbucks model carries a nearly 30% premium. Conversely, less coveted models, such as the two-tone Submariner, trade below retail on the gray market, often by margins of 3% or more. If the scarcity were truly driven by universal demand, such disparities would not exist. These fluctuations prove that scarcity is intentionally engineered around specific references to heightened desire and perceived value. Authorized dealers are the first beneficiaries. Desirable models serve as strategic assets, used to offload less popular inventory and maximize margins. It is also widely suspected that some dealers engage in backdoor transactions, allocating sought-after pieces to gray market dealers in exchange for a share of the markup. These resellers, in turn, profit from the price differential created by artificial scarcity. However, the ultimate winner is Rolex itself. Although the company does not directly earn from the secondary market premiums, the gray market functions as a powerful and cost-free marketing engine. Every inflated resale, every conversation about unattainable models, and every YouTube video breaking down market trends contributes to the brand's aura. The perception of Rolex as an appreciating asset is reinforced continuously. This perception is invaluable. It is the cornerstone of brand mystique. Despite official disavowals, Rolex benefits immensely from the existence of the gray market. The narrative of scarcity, whether real or orchestrated, drives demand and fortifies the brand's position as a symbol of status, wealth, and discernment. The company maintains a public posture of innocence while thriving off the results of a system it helped to design. What are your thoughts on the realities behind the Rolex buying experience? Feel free to share your perspective in the comments, and if this exploration provided valuable insight into the luxury watch world, consider giving it a thumbs up. For more in-depth analysis and curated content on fine timepieces and market strategy, be sure to follow Luxury World. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to welcoming you in our next video.